Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for latest updates. A company called Hindenburg came and wrote this huge report with half-truths, some truths, and lies. They said he was running a total scam. Heavy D's success came with many warnings as rumors, bad stories, and secrets followed him. Now the truth is finally coming out. Join us as we look at these crazy truths that finally came to light. Heavy D had legal fights. The show had just become famous on Discovery Channel when scary rumors started going around. People talked about canceling the show quickly. Some said Heavy D and Diesel Dave were doing shady side businesses. Others whispered that the real problem was money, saying fights between the brothers and their team over sharing profits tore things apart. These stories spread so fast that it became almost impossible to tell what was true and what was fake. But in the middle of all the noise, Discovery stepped up to stop the cancellation talk. This was a relief that made loyal fans breathe easy. The relief didn't last long. By 2016, the brothers found themselves pulled into a legal storm that kept them going in and out of courtrooms. A respected health group in Utah filed a lawsuit against them. They said the duo was changing their custom trucks in ways that made them blow out heavy black smoke into the air. The group said this wasn't just careless, it was one of the dirtiest forms of pollution, dangerous to both people and the planet. To prove their point, they bought a vehicle straight from Sparks Motors and tested it. The results shocked everyone. The truck was found to release 36 times more dirty stuff and more than 20 times the harmful bits than what was legally allowed once the controls were turned off. The case was no small thing, and the proof stacked against Heavy D and Dave painted them in a bad light. Fans who once loved their work had trouble accepting that the brothers could put lives at risk to make money. Just when the heat seemed too much to handle, things got even worse. In 2018, a guy who checks emissions from Davis County said in court that their company had indeed been changing trucks in ways that broke the law. The news left the brothers standing in the center of one of their hardest fights yet. The court finally stepped in and told the company to stop making more truck changes that let out harmful smoke. Fans everywhere wanted answers, and all eyes turned to Heavy D. He explained that the trucks were only meant for off-road fun, and that he thought he was still working within the law. He added that he had even tried to work with the Environmental Protection Agency to keep their work following the rules. But even with his explanation, Judge Robert Shelby said that the company had broken the Clean Air Act many times. A formal warning came in 2018, stopping them from making trucks that created such smoke. 2 years later, the results became heavier when the business partners were hit with an $850,000 fine. Heavy D felt the fine was too harsh, but the judge said it was actually a light decision considering the damage done. The brothers filed an appeal hoping for relief, but the federal court stood firm, keeping the fine in place. After this long legal fight, Heavy D felt he needed to set the record straight with the public. He opened up about how dangerous black smoke really was, saying it wasn't fun, cool, or safe. Living in Utah, where the air already gets trapped and dirty during certain seasons, he explained that the last thing anyone should do is add to the problem. He stressed that he, Diesel Dave, and their team had now promised themselves to building trucks that were both powerful and good for the environment. They had spent years studying every detail of the Clean Air Act, determined to avoid mistakes that could hurt the environment again. For Heavy D, this fight became about more than just business. He wanted future kids to look at their work and see being responsible rather than being careless. He believed that blowing out clouds of smoke didn't make trucks stronger. It only made the air dirtier. His mission turned into proving that the real sign of strength was building machines that could work at the highest level while keeping the world healthier. However, there was some part of Heavy D's life that surprised people. The life of fancy stuff and being generous. To many people, Heavy D often seems flashy because of a lifestyle he proudly shares online. In 2020, he bought a beautiful home in Utah and right away gave fans a look at it, even though the house was still not finished. He couldn't hide how excited he was as he showed off little details he planned to finish, like a secret play spot for his kids in the kitchen. Heavy D knew not everyone would celebrate with him, since haters had always said he was showing off, but he brushed off the bad comments. For him, the home was more than just walls and a roof. It was proof of how far he had come. Growing up, he had nothing close to fancy stuff, but years of hard work and never giving up gave him the chance to give his family a life he never had. To him, celebrating that one wasn't being cocky. It was being thankful, and many fans agreed, cheering him on for living his dream. What made him stand out even more was that beyond building wealth, he often put his energy into helping others. He created the Heavy Academy Conference, where he shared lessons on business and inspired people to grow their own companies. During Hurricane Harvey, he and his team didn't wait on the sidelines. They flew a rescue helicopter, sent 6 trucks packed with supplies, and used resources to search for missing teen Dylan Rounds. His caring stretched far beyond one disaster. In 2022, he answered the call of a sad family who couldn't afford the cost of getting back the remains of pilot Wayne Ward. Heavy D stepped in, helped get the aircraft out, and gave the family the closure they really needed. The same spirit of giving appeared again when snowstorms buried California. Heavy D made sure help reached people who were stuck. Each Christmas, he turned into a source of joy for countless children, leading a yearly toy drive that handed out gifts to families in need. His efforts weren't just donations and rescues. Sometimes they meant rolling up his sleeves for long, hard projects. In 2022, he shared videos showing 11 days spent digging out a 225-foot mine shaft. The area was linked to the mysterious disappearance of Susan Powell. He also stepped in to help a family whose truck broke down, giving them a makeover after they had been forced out of their camping spot. For Heavy D, life was about more than living well. It was about lifting others whenever he had the chance, whether through his platform, his money, or his own hands. Now that we've known a couple things about Heavy D, let's look at what made him more popular. The Diesel Brothers, the show that set him up. The show started on January 4th, 2016, putting Heavy D and Diesel Dave right where they shine the most, fixing and changing diesel trucks. Challenges never scared them. They loved solving the hardest problems customers brought their way. In the early days, they worked on all sorts of vehicles with the help of a small crew. While Heavy D filmed the process and shared it on YouTube, one of those videos changed everything. It caught the eye of Jay Leno, who was so impressed with their skill and charm that he invited them to appear on his show. That moment opened doors, and soon Discovery Channel offered them their own series. What started as a love for diesel machines grew into a reality TV success. Their shop, Diesel Sellers, became the foundation for the hit show Diesel Brothers. Every week, viewers tuned in to watch the two friends bring old, broken-down trucks back to life. By 2019, the show had grown so popular that it returned for its 6th season, starting in December that year. Always wanting to give fans more, Heavy D and Dave pushed the excitement further in August 2020 with a special 3-hour event, Diesel Brothers Monster Jam, breaking world records. Their adventures didn't stop there. They also appeared in Monster Jam's 16th and 17th seasons, sharing the stage with motorsport legends like Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. Heavy D's charm even got him spots in other shows, including Rocky Mountain Oysters, Tiaki, and Silhouette. With all the fame, many wondered if success had hurt their friendship, but the bond between Heavy D and Diesel Dave stayed as strong as ever. They had started as friends and continued to treat each other like brothers, even though they weren't related by blood. The confusion often came from the show's name and Heavy D's habit of keeping his real brothers and sisters away from the public eye. What was clear, however, was that their partnership was built on loyalty, fun, and a shared love for what they did. Church had been a place of important connections for Heavy D, not only where he found his closest business partner, but also where he met his future wife. In 2008, he met Ashley Bennett Sparks, and their instant connection grew into something deeper. 2 years later, on August 12, 2010, they made their love official in marriage. Together, they built a family, welcoming their first child, Charlie May, in October 2011. Their son, Bo, followed in 2015, and by May 2017, Little Mac completed the trio. For Heavy D, Life became a balance of exciting builds, television success, and the joy of raising a family he loved, which was one of the things that made him popular to the world. From garage dreams to TV stardom, he wasn't just known for business or cars, but for the way he took over the internet and got people's attention. What made him stand out was how easily he connected with others, which quickly turned him into a social media star. From starting a YouTube channel, he went on to become a familiar face on television, and his journey showed just how many talents he had. People related to Heavy D because his content felt real, and they followed him as he tried different things he loved. Making videos never felt like work to him. It was something he enjoyed deeply. Whether he was holding a camera or talking with strangers, he did it with ease and always did it, uploading weekly, even on the busiest days. In the beginning, it was just a group of young truck lovers filming their vehicles and sharing the clips online. Over time, what started small grew into something bigger, and he learned how to manage his channel alongside other jobs. That balance, combined with his hard work, brought him millions of supporters. His YouTube channel alone has more than 76 million views, with over 4 million people subscribed, waiting eagerly for each new episode of his series. Fans love the way he shares his love for trucks, vehicles, and even helicopters. But what keeps them hooked is the way he talks with them personally. His openness makes people feel included, and his goal has always been to inspire and entertain through his content. Viewers show their loyalty by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing his work with others. Beyond that, many also support him by buying stuff from his official store. He may not have won awards, but his impact shines through the strong and loyal fan base that continues to celebrate him and his creativity. Speaking of creativity, let's get to the root and know how Heavy D turned out the way he is today. The secret behind his reality. As a little boy, his round cheeks and big body earned him a nickname that never left him. Friends and neighbors began calling him Heavy D, and soon everyone knew him by that name. Behind the popular nickname, however, stood David Sparks. Born on June 18, 1978, in Salt Lake City, Utah. His family background was simple with German roots, and he grew up alongside 3 brothers and sisters. Life was never easy for the Sparks family. His parents had very little money, and on top of money problems, his father faced a terrible battle with a brain tumor. After several operations, his father passed away, leaving the family heartbroken. From then on, his mother, Lisa Tanner Sparks, carried the load alone, doing all she could to make sure her children stayed in school. David went to local schools from elementary through high school, and though money was tight, his mother's hard work gave him that chance. After graduating, he went to Weber State University to study welding, mechanics, and building things, subjects that fed his childhood dream. Cars had always been around him, and he grew up loving their power. His mother once explained how amazed he was with engines, always wanting to know what made them roar to life. Even though he started university, David quickly realized he wanted something more hands-on. He left school to chase his dream and found himself working in the garage of an ATV and motorcycle rental shop in Utah. At first, he knew very little, but his determination set him apart. Under the guidance of Rich Egat, a skilled car builder who became his teacher, David learned everything about custom engines. He would spend countless hours quietly watching, soaking up every detail as Rich rebuilt and changed vehicles. Those lessons started a fire in him, convincing him that building and creating cars was his true calling. After gaining valuable skills, David worked for a while with his uncle in construction. This job introduced him to heavy machinery, and soon he had learned to operate large equipment. That experience later inspired him to start his own digging company, mixing his love for vehicles with business. Piece by piece, he built a name. As a talented custom vehicle creator, a man whose work spoke louder than words. With so much success, it is no surprise that fans and critics alike can't help but wonder just how much David Sparks is worth today. Through the years, people have watched his rise and admired how far he has come. From his role on reality television to his influence on YouTube and his success as a businessman, he has built a name that gets respect. His hard work has earned him a net worth of over $3 million, along with partnerships from top companies like 4 Wheel Parts. He even runs his own merchandise line on his official website, where fans can easily buy clothing, accessories, and other branded products with just a few clicks. Standing at an impressive height of 6 feet 5 inches, one might think he could have chosen a career in fashion, but his heart belonged to cars. He was happiest when grease stained his shirt and the smell of engines filled the air. The mess never bothered him because every day he poured himself into the craft he loved. That passion gave birth to something remarkable. Beyond his mechanical skills, he also had another unique talent. During his time on missions in faraway parts of Bolivia and Brazil, he learned to speak multiple languages. Today he is fluent in English, Spanish, and Portuguese, a rare gift that shows his curiosity and openness to the world. His very first custom creation was a 1977 Yamaha YZ80. And the quality of his work spoke volumes. It wasn't long before his reputation got the attention of big names, including action legend Chuck Norris. When the call came in, he and his team prepared by showing off their boldest, most powerful trucks, certain that was what Chuck would want. Time was short, and they only had a few days to make it happen. But instead of choosing from the lineup, Chuck pointed to a different vehicle, David's personal truck, the one he had spent over a year perfecting. He had poured his energy, time, and passion into it, and had finally reached the point where he was proud just to drive it. Yet, Chuck felt the truck matched his personality perfectly. And David couldn't say no. After a few finishing touches, he handed it over, and it became one of Chuck's most recognizable rides. That single project marked the beginning of a strong friendship. Chuck often spent time with David's family, never turning down a moment to greet fans or play with children. He proved to be genuine and kind, and over time, the two built a close bond. Their friendship grew beyond business, with invitations to Chuck's ranch and memories that turned into lasting stories. For David Sparks, who had already caught fame through Diesel Brothers, it was yet another highlight in a journey full of surprising turns. Audiences have seen him grow from a simple mechanic into a global media figure, and his story continues to inspire. Heavy D is a man who loves action, always curious and eager to try new things. His talents reach far beyond cars and business. He even tried writing, teaming up with Diesel Dave to publish a book titled The Diesel Brothers, a trucking awesome guide to trucks and life. The book became a hit, selling thousands of copies to gearheads and fans who admired their knowledge and playful storytelling. Adding to his many achievements, he also trained and became a certified helicopter pilot, showing that his interests have no limits. But such milestones were not built alone. After starting his digging company, Heavy D needed someone he could trust by his side. And that's when Diesel Dave Kiley officially joined him. Their bond wasn't new. They had been close since their teenage years, first meeting at a church singles event. From that time on, their shared love for trucks and machines tied them together. Dave became Heavy D's first employee. But more than that, he became the right hand that helped turn small dreams into an empire. Together, they started Diesel Sellers, a company that grew into one of Utah's most recognized custom car businesses and later earned worldwide recognition. Their journey as partners officially began in 2008 when Heavy D brought Dave into his construction company to handle the heavy equipment, knowing instantly that Dave was the right fit. Dave himself brought plenty of passion to the table. He was the creative mind behind famous builds like the Yamaha YZ80 and the Mega Ram Runner, and he stood as co-founder of Sparks Motors. Cars might have been his greatest joy, but deep within, he also had a strong love for the military. That calling was woven into his story from birth. He was born on an Air Force base in Lackland, Texas, and grew up inspired by his father, who had served as a mortarman in the infantry during the Second World War. This background shaped his discipline and fueled his drive, making him the perfect partner to Heavy D as they chased dreams bigger than either could have imagined. Diesel Dave's love for the military ran deep, and it wasn't hard to see why. His great-grandfather had fought in both world wars, and his father served as a pilot in the Air Force. Surrounded by such stories of bravery and discipline, Dave dreamed of continuing that legacy. He even went as far as visiting a recruiter, passing the entry test with ease. But life had other plans. By the time he tried to officially sign up, health issues stood in the way, pushing him off that path. Heavy D once revealed how much his partner truly wanted to wear the uniform. But fate led them both into a different battlefield, the world of cars. While Diesel Dave wrestled with the idea of service, Heavy D had already thrown himself into business at a young age. His own family was deeply connected to the armed forces. His father had been a Green Beret, and both his grandparents served in the Air Force. Although neither of them ended up wearing the uniform, they carried the same respect and love for the discipline and grit the military represented. That respect spilled into their work. They modeled their trucks after military vehicles, tough, reliable, and built to last. Their creations weren't about glitter and glam. They were about power, durability, and getting the job done. Together, Heavy D and Diesel Dave built more than just a car company. They created a powerful brand that grew into a legacy, inspiring fans across the globe. Their empire wasn't just about selling trucks. It was about building something that spoke of strength, being tough, and having vision. And Heavy D's business sense only made their empire stronger. At one point, he was hired to design the Nikola Badger, a hydrogen-powered truck that promised innovation. But when the company pulled out of the deal in 2020, Heavy D refused to let the project die. He got full rights to the design, determined to give it new life. Soon after, he and his team announced that the truck would return under a fresh name, EMBR, showing once again that setbacks only fueled their determination to keep moving forward. However, beyond trying to prove their progress, Heavy D is currently working on a future that many never knew about, a vision beyond borders. Heavy D has always been driven by the hunger to grow and the courage to aim higher. Challenges never held him back. They only fueled his determination. Time and time again, people have watched him tear down barriers and add fresh achievements to his journey. Just when fans think they've seen it all, he reveals another side of himself, keeping them curious about what he'll do next. Even while chasing new opportunities, Heavy D draws a firm line between success and values. He refuses to create anything empty or misleading, knowing his brand was built on honesty and being real. That same honesty guides his partnerships. He only partners with creators and companies that match his principles, not for a quick payday, but to build meaningful connections with his audience. Every project, every endorsement is carefully chosen to create impact that goes far beyond the screen. Now standing at the start of yet another exciting chapter, Heavy D is looking outward toward the world. He envisions content that can inspire people across cultures, partnerships that bring new flavors and bold ideas, and projects that carry his message to corners of the globe he may never visit in person. Deals are already forming. Creative experiments are underway. But he prefers to keep the suspense alive, allowing anticipation to grow until the right moment. What fans can be sure of is that something greater is on the horizon. So, what do you think about Heavy D? Do you think his plan for the future will go beyond expectations? Let us know in the comment section. If you want more interesting news about your favorite celebrities, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.